guys, it's Vivian, your hot stock girl. Today we're going to talk about the movie industry from start to present and then diving deep into AMC as a corporation. At the end of the video, we will have a verdict in determining if AMC is a sound investment from my perspective, and hopefully you form your own perspective after watching this. These days, there are so many ways to watch a movie. Companies like Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, and even YouTube are trying to get a piece of the market share in streamable content. Before there was ever such a thing as Netflix, Blockbuster was the #1 way to watch a movie at home, and around that time frame, movie theaters were still thriving. Once Netflix took out Blockbuster, going to see a movie at a theater was a lot less convenient because you could order in DVDs from Netflix or stream their platform to watch a movie as simple as a click of a button. For less than $10 a month and in the comfort of your own home, you could watch as many movies as you wanted. The ability to enjoy the great pleasures of pausing, rewinding, and fast-forwarding as many times as you needed was also a big plus. Not only was it cheaper to watch movies at home, but from my perspective, it was also a more personal experience because you could watch Netflix movies in the presence of friends and family, which created a deeper moment than if you had gone to the movie theater and watched it in a one-way type of viewing. So what happened to big movie theaters like Regal, Movie Co, and AMC? And how are they currently thriving while platforms like Netflix and YouTube exist and the options for film entertainment are almost limitless? Film award shows like the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards are recently giving awards for Netflix original content, as well as Amazon content, whereas before it was only the movies at the theater that were being recognized for film awards. The industry has changed. But how far has it changed and how has movie theaters like AMC adapted? Let's take a look back to the birth of cinemas. By the end of the Great Depression, films were transitioning from black and white to color. And while this was happening, cable TV was still in black and white. And a lot of people did not want to leave their homes to go watch a movie, so the movie theaters at the time started to find ways to draw crowds. And how they did that was by offering popcorn, refreshments, and snacks, as well as making the movie screens wider. Then in the late 1950s and 60s, drive-in theaters were increasing in popularity, even though they premiered older films. The main benefit in going to drive-in theaters than regular sit-in theaters was that you could do whatever you wanted in the comfort of your own car, be it bringing your own food or kissing your date in private. Which now it makes sense why teenagers were the main crowd at drive-in theaters. However, drive-in theaters slowly went out of business due to low profits and high real estate costs. You are lucky if you could even find one near where you live. Then in the 1980s and 1990s, home movies, Blockbuster, and HBO cable movies became just even more ways to watch movies than just going to the theaters. So let me discuss AMC. AMC is the abbreviation for American Multi Cinema. It is the biggest cinema in the world by number of screens and theaters as of 2019 after acquiring several movie theater chains in Europe and across the United States. Regal, which is owned by Cineworld, is the second largest cinema corporation and Cinemark is the third largest. Just so you know, AMC is not in relation to the AMC cable channel, that is a separate company. AMC was founded in 1920 by Maurice, Edward, and Barney Dubinsky, who performed tent shows. Together, they bought a theater in Kansas City, Missouri, and named it Durwood Theaters. In 1961, Edward's son Stanley Durwood took over the company and changed the name to American Multi Cinema. By the 1980s, AMC was experiencing stronger growth and they were expanding overseas. More recently, in 2004, AMC was acquired by Marquee Holdings and Apollo Global Management. Marquee was an affiliate of JP Morgan Chase, and Apollo was run by famous takeover specialist Leon Black. At that time, AMC shareholders received $19.50 per share. The total transaction value was $2 billion. Also, in 2004, Loews Cineplex was purchased for about $1.4 billion by Bain Capital, Carlyle Group, and Oaktree Capital Management. 2 years after taking the company private, AMC attempted to go public with an IPO, but they pulled the offering citing poor market conditions. In 2012, AMC was sold to Wanda Group, a China-based conglomerate, for $2.6 billion. A year later, in December 2013, AMC Entertainment Holdings priced its IPO at $18 per share. At that time, the company was valued at $1.7 billion. In November 2016, AMC acquired Odeon and UCI Cinemas for $1.2 billion. This added 244 theaters throughout Europe to AMC's growing empire. A month later, in December 2016, AMC acquired Cinemark Cinemas for $1.1 billion. The Cinemark deal also brought the Movieco theater chain under the AMC umbrella. After this acquisition, AMC had more than 900 venues operating over 10,000 screens. At the time of this acquisition, there was an issue with the Justice Department that forced AMC to sell 15 theaters and its interest in National Cinemedia. In March 2017, AMC went on to acquire Nordic Cinema Group, the leading movie theater operator in Sweden and Norway, for approximately $964 million. After completing this acquisition, AMC owned more than 1,000 theaters in 15 different countries. AMC's acquisition strategy has turned the company into a movie theater powerhouse with over $5.4 billion in yearly revenue. Their trailing 12-month adjusted EBITDA is now $947 million. All of these acquisitions have saddled the company with a huge debt load. As of September 30th of 2018, the company had $5.8 billion in corporate debt and other long-term liabilities. This means the company is over 6 times levered based on their adjusted EBITDA. You have to be really careful owning companies with such a high ratio of debt. In February of 2018, Moody's downgraded AMC's debt to B2, but mentioned the outlook was stable. Moody's kept AMC's ratings unchanged when they issued $600 million in convertible notes. But as a shareholder, you should be aware that these convertible notes could one day be converted into common shares, which could cause massive dilution to shareholders. AMC had 2 major publicly traded competitors, Regal Entertainment Group, which traded under the ticker symbol RGC, and Cinemark Holdings, which currently trades under the ticker symbol CNK. Regal Entertainment Group was acquired for $3.6 billion by UK-based Cineworld in December of 2017. By that time, Regal had 7,315 screens, which is approximately 66% of the screens that AMC has. If you use Regal's buyout price per screen and multiply it by AMC's 11,000 screens, you would get a valuation of about $5.5 billion, which is well below AMC's current valuation. Cinemark has significantly lower sales than AMC, but pushes a lot more money to the bottom line due to higher profit margins and much lower debt. In July of 2017, AMC announced they would be cutting $30 million in expenses by the end of the year. This cost reduction was accomplished by reducing operating hours and cutting staffing levels. Recently, AMC has created special features to widen their public appeal. In 2011, MoviePass, a subscription-based movie ticket service, created a business idea that allowed moviegoers 3 movies a month for $10 a month by partnering with movie chains and bringing customers to theaters. At the time, MoviePass thought by bringing people to the theaters, movie chains would be happy, making it a win-win situation for both corporations. But in that same year, AMC refused to partner with MoviePass and insisted on making their own subscription-based platform. AMC created AMC Stubs A-List, which launched in June of 2018. AMC Stubs is similar to MoviePass, but also very different because instead of watching 3 movies a month, you could watch 3 movies a week for $20 a month. In essence, you could watch 12 movies a month at AMC with their membership versus 3 movies a month with MoviePass. By December, more than 100,000 bought memberships for AMC Stubs' A-List program, sending the membership subscriber count past 600,000. This beat AMC's target for the service, which they expected to have 500,000 subscribers after its first year in operation. There are several other competitors besides AMC Stubs and MoviePass, such as Cinema, Cinemark, and Alamo Season Pass. They all vary in how many movies you can watch and discounts at concessions, as well as the membership fees a month. However, AMC Stubs seems to be far better service to use because MoviePass continues to have serious issues in funding and generating profits. They also have an increasing number of customer concerns over trying to cancel their memberships on the website because the option was removed due to a site error. To make matters worse, competitors started adding better features and plans, which made MoviePass become very limited in terms of what movies you can see and which theaters were accepting MoviePass. It's a weird situation because MoviePass started the idea to have a subscription service to go to the movie theaters, which was a great idea. But now other cinemas have made their own subscription service and have done it way better than what MoviePass originally offered. In AMC's perspective, why build a partnership when you can just make the same service but make it even better for you and the consumer? In hindsight, this was a brilliant move for AMC. Not so much for MoviePass though. MoviePass has a stock under the ticker symbol HMNY, and if you look at their performance history, it is really ugly. Their CEO, Ted Farnsworth, had $7 million worth of stock, which is now worth about $50 today. That is crazy! MoviePass is on the edge of bankruptcy, burning through $300 million in cash, and are to be delisted on the NASDAQ. It appears they are heading straight to zero. This should remind you as an investor of why you have to do plenty of research on every company you are either invested in or plan to invest in. So what's the verdict on AMC? After all the information on the movie industry and AMC that we have learned throughout this video, is AMC a good investment today? My conclusion is that AMC is a very high-risk, high-reward stock, and let me explain why. When a company has a high debt load, the equity is only a small part of the total value of the company. So when they perform well, the returns are magnified and the stock price soars. But when they perform poorly, sometimes the shareholders get wiped out and the bondholders end up owning the company. If you look at a company like Sears, whose business was declining for years, they had very high debt and now the debt holders own the company, and the stockholders lost their money. AMC did a great job acquiring a lot of movie theaters, and they may be able to cut losses and maintain profitability. But what about the longer-term prospects for AMC? Let me ask you, have you seen any new movie theaters being built recently? I haven't. In my opinion, the movie theater business is likely to continue to struggle because there are so many forms of entertainment nowadays than ever before in history. Personally, I wouldn't own the stock. Some investors may want to own the stock due to the subscription service being a catalyst for consumers to go to the theaters, but from my perspective, there is no further growth in the industry. If you have any type of opinion or perspective on this topic, please let all of us know in the comments section below. So that's everything you needed to know about AMC and the movie industry. I'm Vivian, your hot stock girl, and please be sure to subscribe below and check out my other videos for more great investment ideas. Bye!